Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Riri Charlie One. So, as is today, going to show you how to connect your water from the fish pond to my tank, and then to the tank. That is where I do the greenhouse farming using drip system. How to save that water using the drip system. So, without wasting much time, the fish pond has 6,000 cubic meters of water. So these water normally, you're supposed to drain it when the water is not clean. And when I mean clean, when it has smell and is very green and there's nothing you can see in that water. Fish always likes clean water. However, for catfish, they can sustain with this kind of environment. They can live in brackish water, and hence telling you that you don't have to change the water as often as told. But however, it's good to have good quality of water to make your fish grow very fast. Now, as you can see from here, uh, this is where we actually start from connecting the water with there's a tank connector inside the tank, and then there is the pipe is 40 millimeters. Then there are two um, sockets that they align to each other. There's a bend over here, and then you connect the pipe, which is a 40 millimeter pipe going to the tank. So I have connected the three tanks, the three ponds, so that I can have a lot of water, and this water goes to the tank, which is a 10,000 liter. So I do farm irrigation with the fish pond water, which has ammonium nitrate. How does this ammonium nitrate formed? It is formed through, number one, the extra feeds probably you put in the pond, and number two, excretion from the fish. So fish normally does excretion in same water, hence making the water more acidic. However, that does not mean that your fish can die if the acidic level is just okay. But when it is more, because of the food that you put and goes to the water, then the sun heats up the water, and start decomposing. Then algae is formed, ammonium nitrate is formed in that water. So it is always good to be draining your water to avoid mortality on the fish. So if you go along, you can still see the second connection from the second pond, which now the same concept applies. You get the main pipe from the fish pond, connect it. You're having a T. We are using a T. A T. This is a T. What this is the T that comes from the other pond and this pond. But make sure you have to keep on them closed. You have to keep them closed because you need to, when you're draining your water, you need to try and drain each pond on its own, because some of the fish probably could have some infection, and hence infecting some of your fish. So please make sure you drain your pond independently. So let's keep on moving. And the tank and the pipe still comes on all the way to fish pond number 3. Again, uh, the same connection comes. The same connection comes through as the T, the gate valve, and the same pipe moves on, and then it comes and hits the corner over here. So that corner you normally put a bend. So the bend, this is the bend over here, and then this is the valve. Same here, you have the valve, and then it goes through, and then you reduce it to a smaller size of the tank, the pipe. So you could be wondering what is here on this beautiful black drum. As I said, I don't do fertilizers. I do organic fertilizers. So what I do, I normally put goat manure. This is what I farm with, the goat manure. So I normally put the goat manure half of the drum and then half of the water. And then what I do is I make sure that I close it tight. I close it tight. And when I close it tight, I leave it for 7 days in the sun. So it becomes very hot, boils in up there, ferments, and then I start applying it on my plants. So when I'm planting, that is when I do the hole. Basically, I wet the floor, I wet the ground, do the holes, then I plant the plant, and then I use the liquid fertilizer on top so that I can be able, like, it can go in to the soil, and actually that is how it makes my crops really do very well. As you can see, this is broccoli. which is actually uh, 4 weeks old, going to a close to a month. So as you can see, this broccoli, it actually takes 45 days for it to grow. So in the next probably 15 to 20 days, you should be seeing uh, good results in terms of it forming, and that is how I use my goat manure to make sure that I plant with it all of my plants. So let's move on forward, and still we are following the pipe that connects to the main tank. So, and I'm 100% sure some of you will be asking me, how how does that water go through? Number one, the gravity from the fish ponds to my garden is very good. However, for it to go to the main tank, I normally boost it with a booster, which is a pump. So that pump is connected, and as you can see, we're still on my simple greenhouse at the edge, and this is how I will need to show you uh, the tank connection, so that you can be able to know how that works. So simply, as you follow me, please note that this water has ammonium nitrate, and ammonium nitrate is more of a fertilizer, but this is more of organic because it comes from the fish. So before we go to the tank connection, um, the connection for the tank, number one, as I said, when you're doing your greenhouse farming as well, you need to have a good source of water. So then this good source of water, you need to have a good tank that can contain or sustain the water that you have in your farm. In case there's no water, if you don't have borehole, and maybe you're using supplied water, you make sure that your structure is super good, because 10,000 liters is a lot of water. And in case of any issue and your support system or your structure does not work, then you'll have a lot of losses. Number one, you lose your tank. Number two, you lose probably the plants, and probably even loss of life, because someone probably will be working near the farm. So as you can see, I've used Kakuzi poles. They're very, very strong. And I did make sure that I balanced all of it, simply because I do not want to have the tank to sag in and probably fail me when I really need it most. So let's move on, and let's look at the tank connection. So the tank connection is here. So this is what we have: the tank from up, then we have the gate valve here, then we have adapter here. The two adapters actually are for connecting to make sure that the water goes through in properly without any leakages. Then you still use a 40 millimeter pipe. Then you come over here. This is what you call a filter. The filter is used to filter anything that comes from the tank that has a lot of silt. Then you can actually even open, drain, and then reclose back. Then what we have again over here, uh, this is what we get. You have a socket over here, a bend comes down, then the T, and then the water comes all the way straight again to the main pipe that goes to the main greenhouse. And then you can connect any other pipe to make sure that you want it to function as well. For you to have a drip system in your farm, you need to have the main line here, the source. Then here you have a rubber. From here you can see you have a rubber. Then you have a razor, starter, and then this is the drip. So the drip goes to the bed. So make sure the drip lies on the bed of your plants. So why we need to use the drip? Because the drip system is very easy to use and very water saving. So actually, it drops very small drops for a very short time, and actually goes straight to the plant where you planted. That's why it's called a dripping system, or a drip system, as so many people call them. And what I have is a 16 millimeter drip system that I have, which I'll take you to what I have done. And basically, what we did, we actually have planted now, as I said, is the planting season. And this planting season, I'm into spinach. Now, apart from spinach, I'm into kales, and which are commonly called collards. So basically, that is what I'm gonna take you through. So number one to note, the um, the water from the fish pond is not a waste. You can either recycle it, or you can either decide to use it, actually recycle it, or to use it in your farm. So this is what I'm planting now. And as I said, when you're planting your plants, please make sure you take a very good variety. So for me, the spinach I've taken is Giant Ford Hook. You can actually use any of the seeding company, but I am actually really planting on East African seeds and royal seeds. They're really good. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I have harvested them, have planted them, and the duration, the shelf life is very long as you take good care of them. Sufficient water, sufficient fertilization, which means putting organic manure or any other kind of manure, then your yields will become high. So this one we just did the day before. So the variety, I said again, is Ford Hook Giant, and it takes at least 45 days for it to mature and start harvesting. So what about the spacing? So spacing is very important in your plants, because if you do not space properly, you'll end up having probably less yields, and uh, probably uh, having other issues in terms of your crops not maturing properly. So the spacing for fertilizer is, for your spacing for your spinach is between plant to plant is 5 centimeters, so that you can be able like to have proper yields. Is 5 centimeters, and from plant to plant, which is on the row side, then you can do at least 10 centimeters. This allows you, when you're doing thinning, when you're harvesting and all that, it allows you to have a lance to have the plants grow and maintain broader leaves. So if I take you through, this is what we were talking about as the drip system. So this drip is actually connected to the main pipe, which comes from the tank. So the tank gets the water from the tank. You drop the pipe as I showed you on the video, and then when it goes to the main pipe comes to the greenhouse. Then you connect the pipe, the drip system onto your main pipe, and from your main pipe, the drip comes all the way. The drip comes all the way to your bed. So as you can see, actually they are sprouting at the moment. So probably in the next 3 or 4 days, you're gonna be seeing them up, and that's how we're gonna be keeping you, telling you and showing you how we are doing in terms of the growth of the spinach. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on this other side, we are doing spinach, and this other bed over here, if you can see the small plants coming in here, this is actually coriander. It's normally known as dania. So this one's actually we've just done 5 days ago, and they've started germinating. And germination, it's good because I can see how we planted them. They came out very good. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for tuning in to my YouTube channel. So let's continue subscribing. If you are new here, please subscribe. We'll bring you more content in terms of farming, greenhouse farming. Now we're doing spinach. So what we're doing next, we are planting African shade night. So I will let you give you a snapshot of what we're going to be doing in the next few hours of our cultivation and planting of our African shade night. Thank you, and stay tuned, and please subscribe.